care that much about this one.
Okay.
We're not saying what I'm saying.
That makes sense. So, it's been a while. Things have changed now. I don't use gel on my hair anymore. It's more casual. Anyways, George, I think you came to me with a really interesting topic today.
Yeah.
Would you care to share it with the world?
Yeah.
Perfect.
But first, like, we haven't like did this in a while. Like we haven't had a podcast. Dude, we got so much shit for like doing this, by the way.
We did?
Remember we went to Taiwan and like James was like, yo, how's your podcast going, bro?
Oh. Was that shit though, or was it just like, oh nice, you did it?
I think he was giving a shit.
Oh.
It is
I mean, we did post it on Facebook. I mean, like, because we're both not like very active posters. So when we post, like, people are like, "What the fuck are they talking about?"
Yeah.
But no, I get your point, which was like kind of unexpected.
Mm-hmm. But now we just decided to like continue it. So talk about some stuff, and hopefully people can relate, or if not, then it's just two dudes taking up space on the internet.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. Mm-mm.
But I feel like that's an interesting point, the story that like we did this and a lot of her friends gave us shit. And I think this might segue into your topic, but I'll let you kick that off first.
Ooh, I like that. Nice. Actually, I want to talk to you about like fear, right?
Okay.
Specifically, like facing your fears, and I think I was telling you about how I was listening to a podcast by someone I've been following, which is he's a clinical psychologist, Canadian clinical psychologist. His name's Jordan B. Peterson, and just to give you some context, his studies are around using like mythological stories and kind of like relating it back to life in like human psychology, and how there's a lot of lessons that you can learn from different stories, mythological stories, and even Disney movies like Pinocchio.
Like archetypes, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the right word. But one of the topics that I was talking about was basically like facing your dragons, and how like I think he uses like Saint George as an example.
I don't know that story, but
basically there's like some town, and there's like a dragon, and he's like terrorizing this town. Dragon's like terrorizing the town, and Saint George basically is a hero, and he goes to the cave and like fucks him up. He like throws like a hourglass or something into his mouth and freezes him.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait, I thought you told me he slices him up or something like that, like pizza slices or something.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was hourglass. But anyways, I don't think that matters.
Yeah. But so kind of going back to like, because we like for this our podcast we like talking about kind of our lives, what we're learning, and one thing I was learning was specifically from this podcast was how important it is to face our dragons and demons, and if we don't do that, or if I don't do that, then we're unable to like unlock like these abilities, as in like conquer these fears and just get past them, so that we become like fuller, or like more, not complete, but I don't think I'm explaining this right, but we now have the ability to move into that terrain. And let's give examples. Let's say like talking to girls, right? So like I'm not good at talking to girls, and so if I just like neglect talking to girls for ever, like this is just an area in my life that I will never kind of what's the word, kind of I won't be able to even like not comprehend, like I won't, this is part of my life that I just won't be able to overcome.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and so it would just be like, I'll just be that guy, you know. But me facing my fears, breaking up my fears, the dragon, so to speak, cutting into small pieces, not just like going and like expecting like shit to happen right away.
Yeah.
But me doing that, and now overcoming this fear, now I have like not only learned, but like now have added, not tools, but like I've now managed to level.
I feel like it's almost like you're unlocking this hidden ability in you. Like, I guess for some of those
It's not even
gamers-
hidden though. It's just kind of, it's like obvious that you're not good at something or you have to deal with something, and you need to face it.
I guess so. Okay. Well, I use hidden as the word, as in like everyone innately has a little bit of this. Like, even though as shitty as it could be, like maybe like you're like level 1 of talking to girls. And of course, there's like 100 levels, right?
Yeah, but you want
But
to.
when you do level 1, it like
Yeah.
opens it up, right? It becomes like, oh my god, this new category of my life or a new aspect of my life that I
New
can start
boss.
leveling up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have interesting like League of Legends terms or something like that. You know, you add like skill points into each ability that you have.
Right.
That's what I'm getting
Yeah.
at. And I guess to tie everything back, I don't know, this is a lot that you brought up. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page here. So the theme here is fears and how to conquer them. And what you just did now is you gave an example of a fear that you recently conquered and kind of how that is reflective of
I
the
haven't
bigger-
conquered yet. I'm still bad.
Okay, well, I mean, but like, as in like, you took a first stab at the dragon, right? The dragon like fucking played you off, and you're like, ah, fuck, you know.
Fuck me.
But it's like, no. Now I know that's pretty cool. Like, I want to go back and like slay this for real.
Oh yeah.
So like now you gotta build up this level, right? You gotta go build up your confidence on the girls.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and eventually, like once you get to that great point, then it's like an easy, like you're like the one throwing in the hourglass or like
Oh
slashing
yeah.
and slaying it.
St. George, my story.
Say, oh, that's funny. I forgot. I didn't even realize that parallel. But that's right? I just want to make sure that that's kind of the thematic.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, what are like? I feel like I've just been talking for a while, but
No, that's fine.
what are some fears that you feel like you've been kind of not addressing, and or you can talk about previous experiences too of fears you've already conquered. It doesn't have to be ones right now. I don't put you on the spot.
I think there's a lot of things, but the first one that comes to mind, and I mentioned in the beginning of the conversation, was how this ties up to the fact that our friends were like, "Oh wow, like you actually did a podcast."
Mm-hmm.
I think back then I would have been too shy to ever put myself on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Like now it's not that big of a deal. Like putting that first SoundCloud, I was a little bit nervous, and of course like it gets
Right.
easier every single time.
Yeah.
But even talking in front of a camera, like that's like, I feel like I'm being watched. Like it's very different, but it's like inside I'm very anxious at the same time. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's a fear that I've conquered, is being a little bit more comfortable with who I am and letting others know about it.
Mm-hmm. That's huge though.
I think I can do a better job at that. Of course, I think this is just like phase 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I just wanted to make that parallel where this as itself is in relation to your theme of conquering your fears.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy how like there's a lot of assumptions too of like when you address like a fear, like all the kind of like all the thoughts that kind of go in, like that your mind kind of goes through, like it's like oh, like, what are other people gonna think, do I look good in for camera, like am I gonna speak well properly, am I gonna articulate myself in a way where people can understand what I'm saying? Like there's so many different things, like there's so much shit that you just think about that kind of stops you from, basically what I'm saying is like part of you doesn't even want to conquer that fear. I would say even most of you, like, because it's so scary,
Yeah.
right? It's like the scariest thing because you have to face your shittiness in whatever dragon you're trying to tackle, like slay,
Yeah. It's a bit of like the ego part, but also at
Yeah.
the same time it's like incompetency, and like no one wants to make themselves feel like I suck at something or like reveal
Yeah.
a flaw.
Yeah.
Like you want to think of yourself in a highlight.
Yeah, but that's like there's just too much like. Alright, that kind of ties. Alright, like I feel like that ties to like one thing that really doesn't help that is social media, because
I think we always talk about this.
it's fucking true though. It's like social, like Instagram, Facebook, right? Those are highlight reels of the best moments and the best like skill, like people who are the best, right? Those are usually the videos or the pictures of people who have already conquered whatever dragon that they were trying to slay, right?
Mhm.
Whether it's fitness or a skill, like they have cars and riches and like girls and guys, So therefore, you're just like, holy fuck, like I want that, right? But you don't understand, like, sure they could have been like born with a silver spoon, but a lot of them had to go through and face their fears. So at the same time, you don't, and you're just at step 1, so you're just like, what the fuck, like I want that like right now.
Mhm.
But it's ironic because the instant gratification of social media is
It's a false reality.
it juxtaposes the harsh reality of you having to get there. Does that make sense?
It's almost like this false premise that like when you see that on there, you're like, wait, I can get there instantly. Like, what
Yeah,
makes that guy?
no, because
different?
social media is so immediate, but
Yeah, but it's not that easy.
yeah, the process of getting whatever you want is
Because they don't show the sweat stains,
yeah,
all that sort of stuff in the middle.
yeah, for sure. I was actually thinking about, no, there's definitely stuff like this, but I was thinking about creating like an app where like, you know how like Snapchat, right? It's all about like, oh shit, like I'm eating this great ass meal, or Instagram too, but like you're just like, oh, I'm hanging out with these people, we're at this party, it's lit, you know, like shit like that, right? But imagine if someone just Snapchatted all the shitty moments in their life.
Like the opposite.
Yeah, like, oh fuck, my life just got it's like FML.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was thinking
Yeah.
about FML. I was like, that's
Yeah,
everyone's.
but
then
it
there's
makes
no
you feel good
pictures.
though, because you're just like, his life is shittier, or her life is shittier than mine.
Yeah.
Therefore, I'm balling. It's all perspective, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you trying to resurrect that?
I
FML
don't
days.
know. Like, you could be like, oh, George right now, he's living his friend's living room on their couch.
I didn't want to say
And,
that. You
like,
mentioned it
and
yourself.
then you're like, yeah.
I don't think that's an FML moment though. It's not fuck my life. It's like, damn, I'm thankful for my life that I got a friend that lets me crash at
Oh
this
yeah,
place
for
so many
sure,
months.
for sure. But I was just trying to say,
No,
I forgot what we were talking about, honestly.
then conquering our fears.
Yeah.
And how doing a podcast is kind of like that. And then you somehow went into the social media route where
yeah.
it's like this false premise.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. No, I'm just trying to bring it back and anchor it back to the conversation.
Yeah, so let's keep this one short, actually. Like, what is a fear that you want to, that's like, you're trying to conquer right now?
I think it's a two-part thing. I think I still have a lot of social anxiety,
Sure.
which is super ironic since I do sales.
Okay.
And at the same time, I think speaking more honest. Is that right? Is that how you're supposed to phrase it? Speaking more like honestly, or honest. Anyways, whatever that terminology should be, just being more honest with myself and the way I talk about things. Like, let's say if I'm talking to a boss, right? But like calling shit out if something's not right. You know, speaking my mind. I think
Really?
that's really critical.
That's very bold.
But I think it's like speaking my mind because it's an honest, like that's how I honestly feel, right? But
Like-
of course, you do some filtering. You don't just like tell your,
This
your
is
boss,
shit.
like, yeah, this is shit.
Boss, this is shit.
But you phrase it in a nice way. But you feel like, let's say you're okay. I think a better representation is like you're in a team meeting, and like everyone's throwing out these ideas, and you have this idea in your mind, but like you don't want to say it
Yeah.
because like, oh my god, like what if this is the shittiest idea ever?
Yeah,
My
yeah.
ass like slammed or something like that. That's like what I'm getting about, and that's also in relation to social anxiety because like it's the whole ideology of, it's the fear of what other people think about you.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to phrase it.
Okay.
So yes, that's something that I want to work on.
And like, how are you gonna break it down?
Well, I think even just doing my career choice of sales was a way for me to break it down.
For sure.
I think I've definitely progressed since when I was in high school, middle school.
I think you have.
In terms of like meeting people, and I think when you put yourself in those uncomfortable situations on a daily basis, it becomes a normal situation. And then it's like, oh, that's not that bad.
Right.
But I think I need to be more actively like observant of like calling myself like, wait, why the fuck does that matter what this guy thinks about me? Like, I'm never gonna see him. Like, if I'm on the train and I'm like, I was gonna say picking my nose, but let's say like doing something small, or like I drop something, like I get all like, oh my god, like tense, like
Yeah.
I just like trip. I'm like, oh my god, everyone's like looking at me.
Yeah.
And, like social anxiety, like,
Just
oh my
walk
god,
out.
everyone's here, yeah. But it's like in reality, I'm never gonna say you ever.
fuck
And like,
you guys.
yeah, and you don't even know who the fuck I am, so it's like,
Oh, it's
why should that
hostile.
matter? Huh? Not like hostile, but it's like a reality. It's like
That's so
it
true.
shouldn't matter.
Yeah. It actually doesn't matter.
It's an irrational fear that we built in our heads that like,
But it's so real to you. Like, you actually think that people care what you, like,
yeah,
are watching you, and you actually care what people think about you.
yeah. And that's where I think that maybe the solution for irrational fears is you just you not only rationalize it, but you think about it. I guess rationalizing it and thinking about it objectively is the same thing. But in that example, right? Let's say, you know, like, oh my god, everyone's thinking about me. But if you really think about it truthfully, everyone's inherently pretty selfish, like, or like self-invested. Like, they don't only think about themselves. Like, everyone on that train is thinking about like my day, my work, like their
Yeah,
own
yeah.
personal things. They don't give a fuck about who you
Right.
are. And like even if they do this for like a couple milliseconds and then you're
Sure.
gone, like you're like the least priority of their
Yeah.
list. See, but it's like when I rationalize like that in my head and I speak it out loud, yeah, that makes total fucking sense. But
Yeah.
like
In the moment.
in the moment, I let it overcome myself. But I think I need to be more active in telling myself, like, logically, right? You're being a dumbass. Like that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my response to your question, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you've come a long way with like speaking in public and talking to people, like just like being like social situations. So
Mhm.
I think you should like be like, sure, you're maybe not where you want to be, but if you think about like how, I'm not saying you're awkward, but like thinking how and compared to like where you are right now to before where you were, like you've come a long way.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. And I think this ties back to the thematic story of how that psychologist related this to like any sort of mythological or games or anything like that. Where like maybe I'm at like level 20 out of 100. Like I've definitely progressed this. But I think with doing that, I've opened myself up to a different realm of the
Right,
world. Like
right.
I'm like, holy crap, like when you start interacting with people, then you start learning a lot more things about life. You start seeing a whole different side of the world and how people think.
Mhm.
And that's something that I would never have experienced or ever been a part of if I didn't unlock that part.
Yeah.
So it's like the idea of like you slay like that one dragon and then you move on to this other world and then
Yeah.
there's a fucking troll or a golem and then now you gotta kill that thing.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like it's
You
like
get-
piece by piece.
And you get Princess Peach.
Princess Peach?
Is that her name?
Yeah.
You get Princess Peach when you save
Bowser? When you can kill Bowser.
or you kill Bowser.
Bowser's one of the mini bosses in your life.
That's true. Fucking Bowser. Pretty badass. Yeah.
What about
Yeah.
for you, George? What's a big fear that you would like to solve
Um,
or work on, not solve?
right now, I'm just working on. I'm trying to think of one specific problem I'm trying to solve right now. I would say maybe. Oh well, right now I'm actually working on like fitness, right? So
Mhm.
like exercising. So, in order to, I think before when I had New Year's resolutions, I would just say like it was unrealistic goals, right? I'd just be like, work out 5 days a week, freaking at least lift 3 days of those weeks, do cardio 2 days of those weeks, and then have a progression of like I want to hit like 4 plates on deadlifts, and I want to hit like 2 plates at least on like bench press.
Mhm.
And then like like very high standards of, for me at least, like
Oh.
of like what type of weights I want to lift.
Yeah.
And that was just like, and that was like my New Year's resolution for like 3 years in a row, 4 years maybe.
Mhm.
And that just never it never got realized because, first of all, I would not achieve that goal. I'd probably achieve it for like the first month or so, but
Yeah.
then one time I slipped, I would get so mad at myself. Like I would just be like, dude, you're a piece of shit. Like why can't
Like
you
if
just,
you
like,
didn't go to the gym one day.
yeah, I'll be so mad at myself. Like I would just be like, and I would just like not do it, and I would just go on this like long spree of not working out, and I'd get mad at myself, and I'd just like hate myself for like longest time. And so my new Year's resolution was just to work out anyway, like 3 days a week, 3 times a week, sorry.
Mhm.
And that itself is still really hard for me, but I've been like doing it, and I keep like a log of it on like Excel or some shit.
On Excel.
Like I'll be like, oh, like cardio today, played tennis with Evan, or like worked out, something like that. And I have like bars, like green bars if I hit 3, and if an orange bar if I got more than 3. But
Oh, like
there'll
per-
be
okay, per
but there'll be
week.
days where weeks where I only went twice,
Mhm.
and that's okay. And because I'm just continuing to do it. So just like just breaking up my goal, because eventually if I do want to get to like 5 days a week, it's just like you'll fucking get there, but I need to go through this level first.
What's the fear in all this? The fear is not not being able to accomplish your goals.
I totally forgot that we were talking about fears. I
Oh.
was talking about a problem. Or I'm afraid of.
Problems. No, but that's also I think a good example.
Yeah, that was just a problem that was breaking down. But
Oh.
do you want me to answer fear, or are you just good?
I think to tie it back, we might as well ask the fear one.
Fuck.
I mean, you can go back to the girl example.
Sure,
and talk a
yeah.
little bit more.
Let's do
That
that.
could be one.
Talking to girls, dude, it's like hard for me, especially if I find a girl like really attractive.
Don't we all?
Like, it's really hard. Like, it's just like I almost like put them on a pedestal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I almost like don't want to talk to them at all because I'm afraid. In a way, like I'm afraid. First of all, that they're not a goddess, because that'll just ruin the like image. That was weird.
Like you don't think they meet your expectations or something like that?
I don't know. It's weird. It's fucked up actually. But second of all, like I'm scared what they'll think about me.
Mm-hmm.
But like going back to what you're saying about tripping or eating shit like on the road and people seeing you, you know, like
Yeah.
I start rationalizing. It's like, dude, this is a human being. She just has like, thank her mom and dad for her good genetics,
Mm-hmm.
for being aesthetic, and then she's like a human being too, has like fears and flaws just like me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's okay. And it's okay, and it's also okay if she doesn't like me, because there's no reason to have expectations why someone should or shouldn't react to you, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's totally fine too. So the way I've been kind of breaking down this fear, this is actually kind of interesting because I thought when I was doing sales,
Mm-hmm.
I thought doing sales would get me like improve my speaking abilities.
Yeah.
Which it didn't. Like it kind of did, but like it didn't.
Maybe in very subtle ways.
Yeah. But like the thing that actually really helped me was working at Starbucks,
Oh, really?
because I like talk to customers face to face, and
Mm.
you chat with them, you know, and for a little bit at least.
Yeah.
And it was actually like, and you talk to them for a bit, you ask them how they are, and it was like a lot more genuine conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't think so much about it because there's so many people like come in. It's just like a
Also, you're not selling them anything.
yeah,
You're just
exactly.
taking
I want you
orders.
to like here have coffee. Like I want you to enjoy this drink. You know, it's kind of
Yeah.
like I actually care, and just talking to that many people
Mm-hmm.
at once in such a short amount of time, just like I don't even care anymore.
Yeah.
I do care. I like, and like once in a while you'll get like a pretty girl that comes in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll be like, ah, shit. No, you don't do that. But
You started sweating.
no, I don't sweat anymore. I just feel like, yo, it's like it's just like a person now. Like it's
Yeah.
not even. I don't know. Like I don't know about like you, but like I mean I still do, but like it's more manageable about like my emotions when I see a pretty girl.
Yeah. But it's like the whole the whole ideology that you start off as like level 5, level 30, and you work your way at
So
it.
you have to, right? You have to like start with just simple steps of just like talking to people, be comfortable with that. Like how can you talk to a pretty girl if you can't even talk to people?
Yeah.
Like that's just like going from 0 to 100 too quick,
Mm-hmm.
real quick. But I was gonna say something. Oh, no. Okay. But yeah, I think we've been talking for a little bit right now. But this week was just about conquering fears and understanding that it's essential to kind of, at least I believe it's essential to like face your fears
Mm-hmm.
in order to level up and, you know, it's open doors that you didn't even know, because like your reality is like your reality. Like it doesn't get better unless you change that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Does it? Like
No, I agree that it's the perception of the world, and when you experience something else like that, like for me, like getting like slowly
yeah,
taking away of social anxiety or like being able to talk to girls, you open up different realms of the world that you would never have noticed or have
it
gotten
changes
the chance
you.
to
It changes
experience.
you.
Yeah, no,
right?
it does change you. Yeah,
Like,
that's what I'm agreeing
it's
with.
crazy. Like yeah, and I think hopefully we'll just continue to like one by one
Chop at these dragons.
chop away.
Then we can open up a Korean barbecue store.
Why?
No, sorry, it was a really lame joke. It was a dad joke. I say we could open up a Korean barbecue place.
Because of the dragons?
We're just slaying all that meat.
That's pretty good.
You're only saying that because you're wearing a dad hat.
Okay, my sister. I stole this from my sister.
Okay, fine. Sister dad hat.
Sister hat. Why is it sister dad? What's a sister dad?
I don't know. Well, it's a sister's dad hat.
Oh, gotcha.
I don't know. I'm just bullshitting there. But anyways, anything else you'd like to add to any of this, George? Or do you
Yeah,
think
man,
this
I'm
is
just
a
glad
great
that
conversation?
we got to what's the word? Reignite.
Ignite the flames.
No, no flames.
Oh, there was
The
none? Okay, I'm glad we were able to reboot all
yeah,
this.
that's weird.
Yeah.
And hopefully, like we'll just keep pumping up content. Honestly, like the whole point of this is just to like, yo, we're like 23-year-old dudes
Mm-hmm.
trying to figure shit out. Like I honestly doubt we're the only people who are dealing with the same issues that we're dealing with
Yeah,
right
we're
now.
definitely not alone.
So it's just like, yo, if it's just like you resonate with this, you're not alone, because shit's hard, dude. It's a cruel fucking world. That's it.
I guess the last thing is, isn't that one movie where they filmed like a couple or like this family from like when they were born till now? Do you know what I'm talking about? That one movie?
Is it?
Like it filmed. It was like
Boyhood?
something like that, where it's like the concept was they filmed it for 12 years.
Yeah,
Like
it's
something
a boy,
ridiculous.
right? Yeah.
So I'm thinking like that can kind of be like this. Like it's gonna be like, of course, these videos are very amateurish, but if you want to stick along this journey, then you'll see how things progress.
Yeah.
Like, you know, do George and Ryan stay the same?
Yeah.
Do things
Are George
change?
and Ryan still friends? Is
Oh.
George dating Ryan?
Wait, what?
Is Ryan George's father? Like, what the fuck?
You
Like,
never know,
You
actually.
never know.
Do a full Rick and Morty to everyone.
Dude, I heard it's not coming back, right?
Wait, what?
Season 4?
We'll have a separate conversation about
Okay,
this.
bye.
All right,
Bye.
thanks everyone.